to the fantastic new initiative that we've just sort of launched, which is Create to Connect, the India UK story. And this is the first year that we're doing it. It's a student competition, and it is it is being done by the Study UK campaign, which is a campaign by the UK government. So this competition is being funded by that, and we're really excited to bring this to students and schools and colleges across the country. So thank you all for being here. So this is, it's a competition. I think when we first started designing this competition, we were, I think, thinking about the fact that we're so tired of listening to, adults constantly, telling us what to do, telling us how things are. And it would be so wonderful to actually hear a fresh perspective from all of you. I don't know. I think you're all Gen Z. I most certainly am not, but I always find it very fascinating to listen to your perspectives. I think you guys have it right on many levels. And this is, the India UK story when it comes to education, culture, and research is something that the British Council does. We do this on a daily basis. That this is our job. But I want to hear from all of you, the youth. What is that story for you? What does that relationship mean to you, especially across these pillars? So this competition is an opportunity to celebrate your creativity, your imagination, and your voice. And we want you to do this through your ideas and vision through powerful 60-second videos. We'll get into the rules of the competition in a minute, but we want you to look at this as an opportunity to tell your story, to tell a story, to share new perspectives, to offer creative solutions to real world problems. It's more than filmmaking. It's also about thinking critically. It's about solving creatively. And also, most importantly, it's about communicating confidently. And it's a chance for you to show us what young minds in India can do, and how you can, very easily, I think, connect ideas across cultures and make your mark essentially on a global stage, because this will reach the UK as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the next speaker, and I just want to sort of welcome you all to the competition. I hope all of you, all the schools and colleges here are going to put in a submission. You can put in up to 2. So, don't hesitate, do your best. And you don't need a lot to shine. You just need 60 seconds, according to this competition. And before I hand over, I just want to also mention that the British Council has partnered with Whistling Woods International, who are here on the call with us. So welcome, Whistling Woods. We're really happy to partner with Whistling Woods, who I'm sure most of you have all heard of. And we are working with Whistling Woods because of their academic industry expertise, and you will get a taste of that, because all the winners are going to be able to go to Whistling Woods and see exactly what they offer. But I'll let Meghna tell you more about that. So once again, welcome and all the best for the competition. Meghna, can I hand over to you?
Thank you, Atri. That was really nice and short and crisp, and I'm going to try and keep it as crisp as well. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining in. For me, it's it's like a personal kind of victory to be doing this, because being an alum of the UK, I think it's really amazing that I can, in some way, through my work, contribute to something that is culturally so important for both the countries. So it's actually a real joy when Joydeep told us this morning that there are going to be so many students and principals and teachers on the call. I think it's great to have so many bright, curious, creative minds, participating or wanting to participate in a competition like that. I want to just say that, Whistling Woods International is one of the leading film creative arts institutes in the country, and even globally we've been making a mark for the last 20 years. But it's competitions like this that really matter. I feel the platform that we are able to give students from schools and colleges to be able to explore filmmaking and storytelling, I think that is what really makes it most wonderful. I also want to say that for all you guys who are on the call and are a little intimidated by the word filmmaking, And I know I3 did say that it's only 60 seconds. Actually, that's the bigger challenge, to make anything in 60 seconds and to tell a story in 60 seconds. But what I want to tell you is that treat this with a lot of fun. Don't get intimidated. Filmmaking is not just about cameras, lights, action, editing software, sound, and dubbing. It's a lot about emotion. In fact, that is the basis of good filmmaking. It's about storytelling. So what we really want you to do is, we really want you to be able to express yourselves and tell the story that you want to tell. Tell us how you see the world, how you see the connection between two beautiful countries. Yeah. And this contest isn't looking for professionals. It's looking for voices. It's looking for fresh, fearless, and honest voices. And we don't need you to have fancy equipment. You can shoot on your phone, or if you have a DSLR, then shoot on that. But it doesn't really matter. What we're really going to be looking for is stories. We're going to be looking for how you've been able to express yourself through moving images, yeah, through the medium of film. And through this collaboration, we want to empower young storytellers across India. Yeah, we want to be able to really nurture creativity, collaboration, and confidence. Like I3 said, it's not, filmmaking is not just about putting out your, creative ideas out there. It's so much more than that. Critical thinking, yes. Collaboration. I feel everybody should do a short course in making a film, because the amount of teamwork and collaboration that it has and it requires is, you won't learn that anywhere. So I think it's a great opportunity for you to be able to do this. And I want each one of you to really be able to think of, pick up that diary of yours, pick up that notebook. We have somebody from Whistling Woods who's going to be talking to you about how short films are made. Rohit Prakash, he'll be speaking after me, I guess. And I need you to really hear him with that. With that intent that you're just going to go back after this call, pick up a camera, pick up your phone, pick up a notebook, and start creating, because that's what we want, right? And at Whistling Woods, we've of course over the years seen how storytelling transforms lives. We've seen how our students' films, whether it's Mrs. or Dharak, or I mean, so many films that our students have come up with have made huge difference to the world, to society. And I think if we can start that process here through this small contest, I would be extremely delighted. So my message to the students is, please go ahead, challenge yourselves, dream big, and take part in this filmmaking contest, not just to win, but to really express who you are. And you never know, maybe this will be the first step towards your filmmaking journey. So thank you, and I really can't wait to see your films light up the screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghna, for sharing your insight and perspective. Now, may I invite Himani Taneja? She's a manager education, to take you through a presentation and to share the guidelines, rules, eligibility, and lots more. Thanks. Over to you, Himani.
Thank you, Joy. I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a moment. I hope this is up now.
Yes,
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
go
Okay,
on.
okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm Himani Taneja. I work with British Council Delhi office, and thank you all for joining us today as we explore the guidelines and eligibility criteria for the Study UK Create to Connect competition. Through this session, I'll walk you through everything that you need to know, how to take part, from who can apply, from where to apply, to what you are looking for, and how can you make most of this exciting opportunity to showcase your creativity. So as Andre said, that yes, you have to create a video of 60 seconds. I mean, this Study UK Create to competition is your opportunity to showcase creativity, critical thinking, problem solving through short, creative, and impactful video. So I'll just run through the eligibility. So let's take a quick look at who can participate and how the entries will work. So it would be to be eligible, participant must be currently enrolled in an Indian college, school, or higher education institution. It is important to note that the institution itself, the institution, school, or a higher education university has to be the official eligible entry for the competition. You can't participate as an individual student. The entries has to come through your school or your higher education institution. There are two age group categories, the junior group for student between 16 to 17 years, that's typically class 11th and 12th, and the senior group for undergraduate students, which would be 18 to 21 years. And each team should have 2 to 4 members with a maximum of 4 participants per team. Each school or higher education institution can nominate maximum of 2 teams to participate. And for the competition entry, teams will create a video in English. And as mentioned earlier also, that it should not exceed 60 seconds, no longer than 60 seconds. You can record using any device, whether it's a smartphone, tablet, as long as the video is clear and meets the competition guidelines. After my session, Rohit will be joining in to give you more details how to, draft your video, what are the tools required, and how to get the maximum clarity and the apt way to record your video. I think just a second, is it moving the slide?
You're on the eligibility slide,
Yeah,
Himani.
I'm trying to move, but it is frozen right now. Let me just reshare.
No, just click on the
Click on the
slide.
slide and then click again. Yeah.
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 So if
Yeah.
we talk about the competition themes, students are required to create 1 minute video that captures how India and UK can come together in education and research. Using various themes, student can pick, there are certain themes mentioned here. You can pick one of the sub-theme for the video and explore India-UK partnership that is rooted in education and research partnerships. If I speak a little bit about the themes here, the first theme is science and innovation, where you can highlight examples on how two countries work together on research or innovation hubs. Then there is the second theme, which is technology and digital education, which focuses on e-learning, digital tools that are building stronger educational connections between India and the UK. The next one is sustainable development and climate action is about the joint efforts in, I would say, climate change research, creating more sustainable and smart cities together. Next, we have cultural exchange through food and fusion, a creative space to show how cuisine or fashion trends reflect shared influences between India and the UK. Then we have cinema and literature as bridges. You can explore how modern films, books, storytelling traditions help people for both cultures to connect and understand each other. And finally, sports and youth engagement that celebrates the collaborative sports initiatives that bring young people together through education and teamwork. So each theme that you give you a chance to be as creative as possible, original and meaningful, and show how India and UK continue to learn and inspire from each other. So I hope you have taken down these themes. Otherwise, we'll also be sharing this slides afterwards with you with the competition guidelines. Now I'll move to the competition guidelines, which is the most important thing. Once your video is ready, the next step is to share publicly on your school or institute's social media platform, such as Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Remember to tag official British Council India handles, which are mentioned on the slide. That is at In British on X and Instagram, and British Council India on Facebook. And also a mandate is don't forget to include our official competition hashtag, which is mentioned here in bold, which is hashtag study UK create to connect, so that we can find and feature your entries. Please note this hashtag is a mandatory while you post your video because it has to be there as a eligibility criteria, I would say. So don't forget to tag us and use the hashtag as study UK create to connect. After posting, after posting your video on your school social media handle, you will need to submit an MS form where you will provide a brief synopsis, around 50 to 100 words, your participant details, and the link to your video post. Each school or higher education institution can submit up to 2 entries, and you'll need to use 2 separate forms for each submission. On the presentation, you can see a QR code. You can scan here. We'll also be sending you the link to submit these entries. But you can, if your school has decided to make 2 entries, then there would be 2 separate forms from your school. Now I speak about awards and recognition. Definitely now what's in store for our winners? The top 3 schools and the top 3 education institutions will be invited to a 2-day creative workshop at Whistling Wood International in Mumbai. That is scheduled from 29th and 30th January 2026. Each winning team can bring up to 4 students, because the maximum limit to participate is 4 students, and 1 faculty member to participate. The workshop will be, I would say, an incredible opportunity to learn directly from creative industry experts from both India and the UK. Along with this, each winning institution will receive a complimentary membership to the British Council Digital Library, and their work will be featured across British Council India social media platforms and other content showcase. The British Council here will take care of your workshop fee, your return travel, whether it's through flight or a train, shared accommodation, meals during the workshop, and local transfers in Mumbai. There is one thing that I would like to mention here is the participating institution will be traveling local travel to the nearest airport, or the railway station will be managed either with a participant or your institution. And of course, the certificate will be provided to all the participants. I would like to stop here, Atre. Would you like to add a little bit more about awards and recognition and the workshops that we are looking ahead
Yes.
for?
Thank you, Himani. I actually wanted to say a couple of things on what Himani has covered so far. So one is around the theme. I think Himani explained it really well. But just we've also kept it a little flexible so that you have the sort of the creative freedom to explore various themes. But do keep in mind that the competition is rooted in education and research. Okay, it is rooted in the Study UK campaign, which is about sort of looking at UK universities and the contribution that they make. Now, in the British Council, as you know, we do work in education. So all of you who may someday choose to go to the UK to study or do research, we would obviously help you in that journey. And this competition is sort of built to, kind of inspire you towards that. So when you do look at the themes, for example, science and innovation, something that comes to my mind is, like the work we did together in vaccines. Um, Similarly, we've also moved a little bit towards culture with food and cinema. And there's so much there to kind of unwrap and look at. But there will be props given for, if you're able to put in the education or the university angle, that will help. But, having said that, you also have the freedom to kind of explore it through your own storytelling, as long as you keep in mind that it is about the India-UK story, it is about mutuality, it is about partnership, it is about bringing the two countries together. But yes, it is about also education and research. So do keep that in mind when you're looking at the themes. And that means that this is not just, you may not just be able to whip out a phone and just shoot something. You will have to do some research. You have to study a little bit. You have to go out there and see, how the two countries have worked together, the role that UK universities have played in all of these themes with the two countries. So there is a fair bit of research work, studying, thinking, curating, developing that you have to do. And that is something that we do want you to do. We do want you to take the time to think about that and do that. So I know the end product is a film, but the process is and the journey is a lot more important, I would say. Moving on to the next slide, just a couple of, the guidelines are fine. I just wanted to come to the prizes. So, obviously the winners get this incredible residential workshop at, Whistling Woods International, as Meghna said, one of the best in the country with a global footprint as well. So that's incredible. And you will be coached by experts at Whistling Woods, but also experts that we will fly down from the UK. Now, we've been approached when this competition was kind of launched, and you may be aware that the UK Prime Minister was in Bombay recently, Keir Starmer, and he came here with a huge delegation of sort of leaders from business, culture, sports, etc. And we were in Whistling Woods when they were here to launch this competition. And a lot of experts in the room, the sort of leaders in culture, museums, that sort of thing, they were so intrigued by it and they were so keen to hear your voices. So we are also in talks with Science Museum. Have you heard of the Science Museum? You must have heard of the Science Museum. It's one of the biggest and best museums in the world. It is in London. So they are keen to kind of potentially be able to showcase your film. So the winning films, could have an audience in London, in the UK. To British people and an international audience. So we are working out some more prizes and some more sort of wonderful things that can come out of this. And yes, you will get the workshop. Yes, you will get, of course, your certificates and your medals and a chance to travel to Bombay and come to Film City and see Whistling Woods and kind of learn from experts, which is brilliant. But you will also get an incredible platform to showcase your talent, your ideas. It's going to be on all our social media. It will be run by our partner, social media in the UK. So just wanted to mention that quickly and hopefully inspire you and nudge you a little closer towards those submissions. Back to you, Imani.
Thank you, Atre, for adding more to the awards and recognitions and making it sound very exciting. So I'll just move very quickly to the next slide, which is on safeguarding. This is specifically for the schools and higher education institutions. So safeguarding, I would say, is a key priority for British Council, and we want to ensure that all the participating students are protected and supported throughout the competition. So to participate, each school or higher education institution must first accept the video, audio, and GDPR clauses. So this would be available while you are filling the MS form. There would be certain clauses and data protection that we have added there, which are included in the registration form. This ensure all entries comply with the data protection and media uses regulations. So next, participation institutions, whether it's school or HEI, need to acknowledge the British Council online safety and digital safeguarding advice, which will be shared by email. It is important that these documents are also circulated among the participating students and their parents so that everyone understands how to stay safe online. Then schools and HEI submit the media and parental consent form, which after this we'll be sharing with you, which have to sign either by students themselves if they are over 18, and the school representative on behalf of the students if they are under 18. Finally, if your institution wins and travels to Mumbai to the workshop, you'll need to assign one staff member or a faculty representative to accompany the team, since the duty of care with the school or HEI throughout the trip lies with the school. So there are certain guidelines that we'll be sharing with you soon. And while filling up your MS form, there would be to accept the video, GDPR clauses that you have to accept to be a part of this competition. Now I'll just very quickly share the do's and don'ts for the students for creating and uploading videos. Before students start creating and uploading the videos, it is important there's a school brief all the participants on these basic do's and don'ts. So to start off with, students should always film safely, no risky stunts, no unsafe locations to be used. Then protect your privacy and the privacy of others. Make sure you get permission from anyone who appears in your video. Keep your content very respectful, inclusive, and positive, and only use original or copyright-free music, visual, or footage. I would say always review your video very carefully before posting. Check that it aligns with the competition theme, tools, and safety guidelines. And along with definitely the do's, it's equally important for the schools to remind students about what not to do when creating and posting their videos. So first of all, students should never share their personal information online, such as home addresses, phone numbers, or anything that could identify them publicly. Then they must not film anyone, as said earlier, without permission, whether it's your classmates, your teachers, or people in public spaces. Uh, I would say safety is crucial here. Students should avoid any dangerous stunts or imitative actions that could cause them. And finally, remind to the students not to engage with any inappropriate comments or messages online. If anything that comes which is uncomfortable happens, they should report to their teachers or school representatives right away. I would again say all the content must be respectful and non-political. Avoid anything that could be seen as offensive or controversial. So this is all about do's and don'ts, and also just to ensure the safety of the video that you are posting, please ensure after your video is prepared, just you run through your teachers, run through your faculty members who are supporting you before posting it online. So that's it. Thank you from my end, and over to you, Joydeep, now.
Thank you, Himani. Thank you for taking us through all the rules, regulation, guidelines. And I can see a few questions popping up. So keep putting your questions in the Q&A box, and we will try to respond to them as we move on. Now, let me invite Rohit Prakash. He's the founder of Button Creative, and he's a very proud alumni of Whistling Woods International. So welcome, Rohit, and over to you.
Hi, John. Hi, you guys. No, well, I'm just here to share some filmmaking tips and tricks, really. But more than anything, I just want to take a minute to kind of it. Just listening to all this took me back to about 6-7 years back, right? When actually longer than that, I try to underplay my age. But the time that I was also doing some of these filmmaking competitions, but none as cool as this one. And none with the amount of sort of bounce that this one can give you guys. But I'd like to spend some time and I'll talk through a little bit of a deck while I do that for you. I understand that a bunch of us on this call, students and teachers, even for the students in your class, may not have really ever made films, right? Maybe your passion right now is football and cricket, maybe art and craft in a different way, may not be filmmaking. But beyond the seriousness of it, frankly, it's very simple, right? And so maybe in the next sort of 5-6 minutes, I'll just take you through a certain understanding that maybe I can share with you. It's come after some experience of doing this for me. And really, this is what it's about, right? So if any of you haven't ever made a film, first of all, congratulations, because it's a big deal to even just make a film. Trust me, when you finish cutting this 60-seconder and you'll see your final film and you'll probably show it to your friends, that feeling is really everything this is about. What comes with it is the second half of it, right? So first, you're making it for yourself. So first of all, congratulations. But here's the thing, man. I know a bunch of you here haven't probably made films and you're already stressing, saying, what am I going to make this film on? But I'm sure every one of you is scrolling on Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, right? And what do you see there? You see something like this, right? So a video like this.
Try Sprite, 5 cans of Sprite cranberry. Let's get it. All right, and the last can right here. And by the way, guys, if I'm able to chug all this Sprite cranberry in one go, make sure to like this video and subscribe or follow whatever platform you're on, because this is a lot of Sprite and it's got to be carbonated as freak. But
now you guys have watched stuff like this, right? Instagram is full of this, what we like to call brain rot content. But if you watch stuff like this, there's something to learn from even videos like this, right? What did we just see? We saw him pour it, and now he's got the whole thing. Wow. In filmmaking, we like to call this a very simple thing, which is called a hook, an action, and a payoff, right? Even when you're ideating about what is my 60-seconder going to be, a good idea is to think about what's the hook, what's the action, what's the payoff. In the video you just saw, what was it? You see him pouring this Sprite into a glass. That's the hook. Wow, what's he going to do? What is the action? Whoa. And what is the payoff? There's something at the end of it. So for you, if let's say you're looking to make a film where, you want to explore, like Atreyu was saying, the UK-Indian ties, you want to explore, sort of the sort of residue of British culture that still exists in so many of our cities in India, right? If that's what you want to talk about, try to find a good hook. and then try to explore your film by showing us a little bit about it. And at the end, you may want to give us your opinion. So that becomes the payoff. So for someone like us who's watching the film, we now wait till the end because we want to know what your perspective was, right? And that's the same thing with every reel that's going on there, right? You guys are more savvy with trends, and when you watch this video already, at some point it's going to turn and we're going to reveal who that other person is, and so you got your payoff, right? So even in the reels that you watch, there's something to learn. But here's the thing, short form content goes beyond these trends, right? I'm assuming when you guys heard 60 seconds, already your mind is thinking vertical video, reels type content. But ideally, 60 seconds is a lot of time if you think about it that way. Let me show you what I mean, right? Um, let's say you've got a passion. Let's say, you guys love playing football. Let's say you love cooking. Let's say you love painting, right? If you've got a passion, it already makes for a great subject for a film. So maybe a good first question to ask yourself is, what do I like doing, right? Let's say you and your friends love to play tennis, right? Uh, a good idea is if you and your friend are already playing tennis, the tennis court, the tennis tools, all of this becomes what we like to call the milieu of the film, the ambience, the surrounding. And so, it doesn't necessarily need to be just something like a trend. You can go and make something as cinematic as this.
Roger versus Zendaya, air tennis. Zendaya to serve, play.
You get the drift, right? The idea that I'm trying to make here is, let's say you have a sense of sound, you have a song that you really like that you found online. You want to use that song in your film. Now you go and shoot some visuals of a sport you love, of an activity, maybe cooking. And in all of this, if you're able to bring the visual, the opinion that you have, your voice as a filmmaker, that's all filmmaking is about, right? Let's say, for example, in the sports example, and because we're doing this for British Council, let's say, I'm sure a bunch of you are fans of Manchester United and Manchester City, which are all sort of British football clubs, right? So many of us here in India who've played football all our lives love these teams. Maybe, your film is about, a boy who's playing football and constantly tries to imitate the styles of, an Erling Haaland or a Trent Alexander-Arnold, these footballers. And so then your film is about that, is about culture coming from, sort of the big clubs in London to your school, to your neighborhood. And that could be a great film. Sometimes it doesn't need to be so intense, right? You can even make a film about something as simple as a card game, something like this.
How to play Uno the right way. If you weren't born yesterday, don't live under a rock, and have at least one friend, then you've probably heard about Uno. Despite of its colorful appearance, Uno is a game of epic betrayal with real-world consequences. To master this game...
You get the drill, right? I'll play that on mute while I talk over it. So like Atreyu was mentioning, once you do some research, once you know what you want to say, of course, keep in mind that there is a chance your film could be playing at the Science Museum, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you make is worthy of being on that screen. A good thought is if you do your research and your AI tools today are great research assistants, you try your ChatGPT to come up with a concept that you want to explore. Now, the idea is take that concept and make it into a film that's visually appealing like the one you see here, right? Even on mute, it's so interesting to watch. And all of this can be done. I'll come to the tools and the tech later. I'm sure you guys know this almost better than I do. But I'll just quickly take you through some of the brass tacks that you would need. But before I get to that, The important thing to remember, guys, is you want to chase the story. In 60 seconds, more than just making a flamboyant film and flexing your style and camera movement, I'm sure everybody who's going to watch your film is looking for what do you have to say. So you want to think about that a little deep before you go in and make your film. About the what do you want to say, sometimes it's simpler than this, right? I'm going to show you an example for a film we made for our alma mater, Whistling Woods. Let's say you don't want to get into the trouble of convincing people to act in your film. You don't have the time and the energy to really go and make 10 people come in a scene for you. Sometimes the world out there uh, is a set itself, right? The question you want to really ask yourself is, do you have a perspective? So like I was mentioning, let's say you have a perspective where you want to talk about in 60 seconds, you want to talk about the British culture that you can still see around you wherever you are, wherever you're born. I'm in Mumbai, so I can tell you, for instance, I went to a school called St. Mary's, which was in I think it's been 200 years of that school. So it's a 1945, 1950 founded established school. So we had lovely British buildings. We had it was Jesuit school, so we had a lot of fathers who were British themselves. So it's personal to me, right? It's authentic to my story. Maybe if I was to compete in this competition, I would try to go maybe convince them to be in an interview, so get them to give me their consent, and then maybe take an interview of them, take some shots of the school, of the architecture, just talk a little bit about how that school has helped make the area better. And so that becomes my lens. So for that, you need no actors, right? You can make a film just with you, your mind, a camera, and your editing skills. And it's something like this. This is something we made for Whistling Woods on Mother's Day. I'll just quickly show you a little bit.
At Whistling Woods International, over 70% of our students come from cities far from Mumbai. For many of them, this campus is their first home away from home. And for their mothers, there's always one constant worry. Is my child eating well? So this Mother's Day, we decided to bring them a little closer to the food they've always made with love. We reached out to 10 incredible mothers.
So now this film just follows how Whistling Woods did this lovely activity where they actually reached out to mothers of children who were living away from Mumbai, and they customized the canteen menu. There was a separate canteen menu for a few weeks around the time of Mother's Day, which were dishes that children and their mothers sent recipes for. So the point I'm trying to make here is, if you have a view on the world, you can just go and capture it like a beautiful documentary, and that serves for a great film as well. To finally finish up, while I talk to you about this final thing, if you want to make
इधर
आदि सर से मिलना है।
आदि
आदित्य चोपड़ा।
मीटिंग है।
हाँ मीटिंग करनी है।
नहीं मतलब मीटिंग है क्या?
हाँ मीटिंग करनी है।
कौन से टाइम पे?
जब भी वो फ्री हो यार, मैं पूरा दिन फ्री हूँ।
You get the drift. This one is what we like to call the dialogue bazi film, right? Let's say you want to write dialogues for two characters and shoot it interestingly, set up a scene. That's also a great idea. You just want to make sure that it's tick boxing the check boxes of what we're looking at from an objective standpoint. But here's the point I want to make, guys, before I close for my bit. All of these examples I showed you, right? All these films, some fiction, some non-fiction, and you know it as well as I do. In today's day, if you want to make the 60-seconder, you may want to remember that you will have to go through all these beats that are on your screen right now, right? It wouldn't be so simple that you wake up one day, take your camera or your phone and just go and shoot anything. You probably want to write what you want to do. You want to go do some shot breakdown, which means you go to the location that you want to shoot and you first see it with your eyes before you see it with the camera. You want to see where you can place the camera, where will the people in the frame be. You do all of that. If you're writing a fiction one, then you need to probably go convince your friends and family to act in these films, right? So that's casting. And then finally, it's your job to also get a performance out of them. So that's a little bit of acting. And then there's cinematography, which I'm hoping you guys will be doing. Of course, when you do it more professionally, you can be the director and you probably have a cinematographer. But for this 60-seconder, it'd be lovely if you're the one holding the phone, filming it so you know exactly what you're getting. And then you go to edit. You do some sound recording. So let's say if you're doing the tennis film that like I showed you, you want to record the sounds of the ball hitting the racket, right? So you can bring it on your edit table. And of course, the final bits like color correction, which is what you do on your Instagram photos as well, right? Saturation, contrast, brightness, those tabs, that's what color correction is. And finally, just taking all of this and just making the final film. Now, while this looks hectic, and while if some of you have experience working with Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut, that's great. But if not, all of this can also happen on your phone. Let's say if you're an Apple person and you have an iPhone in the family, or you have a MacBook Pro at home, then there is the iMovie app on the Mac that comes with it, which is a phenomenal video editor. Let's say you're a Windows person, or let's say you have any other sort of software or operating systems. I would highly recommend Canva. Canva is as simple as it gets, right? You shoot something, you upload it, and Canva has some lovely transitions. Even if you don't get the premium version, extremely simple to shoot and edit. So that should be fine. And frankly, I mean, if nothing else, you have the masterclass of anything you want to learn today, YouTube at the beck and call to sort of understand these tools better. But again, more than the technicality here, maybe what we can take some questions on if you have them, or just remember, and I hope I've made a good point for that, is that you want to make sure that at the end of the 60 seconds that you make, even before you apply and send it to your school teachers and sort of post it online and tag British Council, even before you do all of that, when you see your 60-seconder, does it make you feel a sense of accomplishment? And if you have that, I think you'll be home. So yeah, all the best. If I get a chance to watch some of these films, I'd love to. But happy to take any questions if you have any. I wasn't seeing the screen, so if there were any, now would be a good time.
Thank you, Rohit. I think that was so like well sort of said and explained. I really hope that inspires all the kids to do a good job. I think that was really helpful, really great example. So thank you for that. We do have a few technical questions. I think, Joydeep, do you want to just moderate some of the questions for us? Very aware of all the questions you've put in. We will get to all of them. Don't worry. We have enough time. Joydeep, are you able to do that?
Yes. Rohit, we have a question from DPS column.
Yeah.
Can the video have cuts or transitions?
I think you should have cuts and transitions. Ideally, even if you're doing one of these explanatory videos where you're talking to camera and then you keep cutting to B-rolls of what you may shoot, or some stock footage that you may find online. So I do think you should have cuts. I think it makes for more compelling film. Unless you're ambitious that you want to do like a one shot and do something interesting, I think that's also a great medium. But don't be afraid to have cuts and transitions. Another just a technical bit I'd add to that is, in filmmaking, we often ask ourselves, is the transition justified? In a lot of these reels that you watch, sometimes the transitions are just for the sake of holding your attention. But I think a good question to ask is, why are you cutting to the next scene, or why is this transition as flashy as it is? And if you can justify that, I think it's a creative medium, so you should have fun with it.
Okay, thank you. There's another one from Sri Ram. Is there any limits for how many people should come into a film? I mean, he's asking.
I think that's for us as well. I mean, Rohit may have a creative sort of, thinking on this, but as far as the competition is concerned, we don't have any limitations on the number of people who are in your film. We only have limitations on the number of participants from a school. So you can have a minimum of 2, maximum of 4 participants for an entry from a single school. And obviously you can have 2 entries, so that's 4 + 4, 8, etc. But Rohit, any creative input here? Is there such a thing as too many people in a video?
If you can convince the too many people, I think go have a party. It's usually it's usually quite heavy to convince a lot of people. But if you have that kind of manpower behind you, why not? I think you should leverage it.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a chance to have their faces in the Science Museum. Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
Jyoti, shall we take some of the questions on the eligibility
Eligibility,
around?
or the
Yeah,
age,
I
plus
wanted to
10, yeah.
speak on it. So, this is for all the schools, especially who are here, not the colleges so much. We sort of wanted to keep it to a senior school level, sort of a standard, 11th, 12th. I think 10th, class 10 is fine. Regardless, you're under 18, you will be under the, sort of junior category, you will be under the Safeguarding Act, you will be accompanied by your teacher. So all of that is fine. I think 16 plus is okay, sort of as, class 10 should be okay, but obviously you have boards. And we would request the schools to keep in mind all those kinds of constraints around boards and exams and when those are. Just keep in mind that the workshops are expected to take place in January. It'll be around a 2-3 day thing, plus travel, to and from Bombay, depending on where you are in the country. But yeah, I think class 10 onwards is fine. I think class 9 is too young. At least in the entries, in the 2 to 4 people that you recommend are part of the team. We would want that to be class 10 onwards. I think that's fair.
Okay, one more for Rohit. Should the video have a story as a base, or can it be a explanatory video?
I think one of two ways depends on how you are as a filmmaking voice. I'm a big fan of video essays, and I think they can be cinematic as well. So let's say you set up a camera and you sit in like one of those Netflix interview frames, and you give your point of view. And if you're able to cut that to B-rolls are essentially videos you've taken on the side that you cut with what you're saying to make your compelling point. I think that's great. But like the last reference I showed, if some of you like to write dialogues and want to make a point via a scene, I think that should be fair as well. I think creativity on these two fronts, I think we're open for. है ना, Atrey? I think that's how
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
looking at it.
totally agree. And I just want to say that there is no right or wrong. Like if you,
Yeah.
it's not right if it's, with a story as a base, or it's not right if it's fantasy, and wrong if it's not at all that. It's about how you're kind of putting the story across. The other thing I want to say is that you can look at the story can be a lot of things. It can be, you could just be celebrating an aspect of the relationship. You could be offering a solution to a global problem through collaboration between the two countries. You could just be saying that, there is this thing that the two countries did at some point, or, and that's great. Or you could just show something like Rohit said, you could just be kind of putting the spotlight on something that is interesting or fun, or, in sports, like you love Manchester, or you love Liverpool, or you love the Beatles, or whatever. Does anyone listen to the Beatles anymore? Anyway, so whoever, One Direction.
Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Oh, Ed
Ed is
Sheeran.
British.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Shows my age. But yes, so so whatever, you could just put a spotlight on that. It doesn't have to solve a global problem, but if that's also what you want to do, have at it. That's fine too.
Yeah. I'll take one. Do we have to record all the clips, or we can use stock footage from online?
This is, I think, something, Atri, you may have to
Yeah,
clarify. but
yeah, I will. I think, what I would say is, I think you should use original content as much as possible. Having said that, if you want to have some music and there is some free resource on the internet, please make sure that you're complying by the legal sort of aspects. You're not, using something that's copyrighted, etc. There is plenty of free stuff on the internet. You just have to know, where to get it and do it the right way, and give credit, etc. But I think I think your chances are better if you're using, if you have somebody who's used original content and shot original stuff, whereas you have just stitched a bunch of things already on the internet. Who do you think the judges are going to like more, right? So, and that effort shows. So I think use original content, but use free resources for, like, if you want to, like, for music, or some pictures of the UK or something, and you don't have original pictures, obviously, that should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly scroll through some of the questions. Do we have to record all the? Yeah. Okay. We've clarified the eligibility. Does the video have to be formal, or can it be charismatic? Of course, please, you can be charismatic, show your personality, respectfully. That was also one of the rules, or some of the do's and don'ts that Himani mentioned. As long as you're respectful, as long as you're appropriate, as long as you're decent, you can absolutely let your personality and character come through. It can be charismatic, it can be funny, it can be humorous, it can be all of those things. It can be charming, it can be creative, it can be all of those things. But it doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to stand in front of the screen and kind of say a speech. And that's where your storytelling sort of comes through, I guess. Should the theme be featured as a part of the film? The theme has to be the crux of your story. It has to be what the film is based on. But have fun with it, because we've given you plenty of options there. Any upper limit of age for university participants? They have to be undergraduate students. So up to, year 3 or 4, depending on the kind of course. How are the videos graded? So we will share the kind of criteria that you will be graded on. I think we already have that, so we can probably share that after the call. You will be graded on various aspects of the video. They will not be, things like how fancy it was, or how, how good your equipment is and things like that. They will be around the way you tell the story, the kind of content you've used, and the way you've thought about it. But Himani, I think we can share the criteria after the call with all those who attended.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
I
We will.
think we already have that. If we are using a credit roll, this I don't know, this has to be you, I think, Rohit. If we are using a credit roll, should it come under the 1 minute time limit, or the content is supposed to be under a minute? That's a cheeky one.
Yeah, I think a good answer would be don't waste your seconds on a credit roll.
Yeah.
So maybe if you have people to credit, just do it as a final slate for a second.
Yeah.
So use your 59 seconds,
Yeah.
and maybe finally, if the film does
Yeah.
win and make it to places, we can always find a way.
Yeah, and yeah, if you win and all, we'll anyway put it everywhere, right? When it's being uploaded on social media, we'll make sure that it's there in your caption. So yeah, that's a fair point. Can we have some sample videos? I think Whistling Woods will share some resources and tools. Having said that, you don't want to imitate, you want to find your original voice. But I think we can share some videos. Rohit, I think Whistling Woods will have some sort of nice things. But I think also, like Rohit shared, like Rohit's just, also picked up a lot of interesting content that's out there on Reels and YouTube Shorts and things like that. So, and as Rohit said, all of it works if you, do it the right way. Ratio of the video. This is beyond my.
The aspect ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
19 is.
question.
Yeah.
Good question. I think a good way to decide that would be on where you're looking to upload your entry. So if you're looking to post it on Instagram, then maybe a good idea to go vertical. Or you can even do 4:3, right? Which makes it sort of almost a square, but also good for vertical. But if you're posting it on YouTube, then you want to go proper 16:9. But another idea there as well is if you're doing like an explainer video, maybe a vertical format works better. But if you're doing something more cinematic, 16:9. But I think as an entry standpoint, we're open to all formats.
Exactly. Yeah. I've just gone to Q&A section. Sample videos we've mentioned that Whistling Woods will share some resources, but also the kind of stuff that Rohit showed today. One school can have 2 teams, up to a maximum of 2 teams. You can absolutely have just 1 team as well, and 1 entry per team, not 2 entries per team, right? Himani, am I right? Or is it 2 entries? Or basically
No,
2
1
entries
entry.
per school. 2
Yes.
entries per school maximum. Now, whether you do
Yeah,
that
2
with 1 team or 2 teams is up to you, but not more than 2 entries per school, or per college.
And maximum
I think
4 students. It should not go beyond 4 students
not
per
beyond 4
team.
students plus a faculty member. Then the students, yes, they can be basically 15 plus, they can be from class 10 onwards, yes. So they are, yeah, I don't think class 9 will be the right age group for this. Maximum 4 people per team. Yes, I'm just going through the questions. Can you mention the last date? The last date is 30th November. Yeah, and some sample videos. I just wanted to mention one thing. One of the main ways that the schools will also submit the videos is on their socials. Now, assuming all schools have socials, have a page, you have a Facebook or an Instagram or Twitter or whatever that you want to show it on, or even a YouTube. If you don't have socials, that's fine. Ideally, you have a website where you could host the video. If you also don't have a website, which is possible, rare though, and you absolutely don't have any platform where you can host the video, please get in touch with us separately. We don't want that to disqualify you. We want this competition to be accessible to to everybody, to every kind of school, every school in the country, every college in the country. So in that case, just get in touch with us. But otherwise, yeah, that's the criteria. I think that's all the questions.
We have one, Atre. Can
Yeah.
we work along with our international partner to make the movie?
I mean, yes, I think so. But just remember, there is a certain team that you're proposing at the end of the day, and it can't go beyond that. So the team that you propose has made the film are those 2 to 4 people who have to all be students. So the reason we mentioned that they have to be current students is you can't, sort of nominate an alumni who has made the video or a film for you, because they have to be current, sort of students enrolled with you right now. And of course, take any help and resource you want and need. 30th November to upload the videos, or that's the last day for registration? No. I think 30th November is the
Submission of the video.
It's the last
yeah.
date. Yeah.
Submission deadline, please.
And can the same faculty be named for both teams from one school?
Yes, I think that's fine.
Yeah. One quick one for Rohit. Can we use some background music and sound to make the video more engaging?
Yeah, I think you really should. And a good suggestion is maybe you can note this down. There's a platform called Envato, Envato, where you can get some free samples. So there are some free sounds, a bunch of genres. You can search what you want. So yeah, a bunch of these. You must use audio. I think filmmaking is an audio visual medium, so you want to make sure your sound is quite nice as well.
Sounds good.
And one last one, I think, should it be a storytelling or act? The video, I mean.
Yeah, like we mentioned, I think you should be free to do one of the two. But yeah, ideally, like I said, I think you want to chase your story, whatever suits that better, whatever you want to tell. If it makes sense that you in camera, speaking to camera, saying your point of view is a better way to do it, you should do that. Versus if you think you can write out something that sort of enacts it and makes the point, in a deeper way, you should maybe go and do that as well. Yeah.
Thank you. We have exceeded by 2-3 minutes. Any final word, Atre?
No, all the best. First of all, a big thank you to Rohit for so generously, sharing your expertise with everybody. I think, the kids are lucky. The kids are lucky to have sat through this with you. And I hope we can continue to kind of have your guidance through the competition. And I know Whistling Woods is obviously going to be here with us through this. And all the best to the students. Continue to kind of get in touch with the British Council for any questions you have. 30th November, I know isn't like, ages away. It seems quite near. So just get to it, start working on it, and all the best, and hope you guys do a great job. We'll keep you sort of apprised of any other sort of timelines, dates, etc. But for right now, the main date in your minds should be 30th November. That's it. Can you film it in school? That's absolutely fine, and that's completely up to you. That would be great, actually. We're really excited to see your submissions. But in the meanwhile, like I said, get in touch if you have any questions, and all the best. Thanks, Rohit. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All the best. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Imani. Thank you, Meghna, if you're around.